You know, bass anglers have literally hundreds of baits to choose from. A successful day out in the water often hinges on picking the right bait for the right situation. Unfortunately, it's easy for an angler to make the wrong choice when they don't fully understand the nuances of rigging and presentations. In this Beyond the Bait video series powered by our friends at Streamlight, I'm going to offer a uniquely technical focus on the best baits for bass fishing. Along the way, I'll try to dispel many of the wives' tales, myths, and misnomers associated with bass fishing. Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Kuhn, editor in Game and Fish magazine. Come along as I attempt to help you put more fish in the boat. Now let's get to it. You know, soft plastic baits are some of the most versatile fishing baits that you can find, and there's a good reason why. They catch fish. They simply catch fish. And why is that? Because they can be fished anywhere. They can be fished from the top of the water column to the bottom. They can be fished in the thickest of slop, and they can be fished in open water. In other words, they can be fished literally anywhere. You can fish them with any kind of cadence. You can fish them quickly with a quick twitch on top, or you can barely creep them along the bottom with a really, really slow hop. This makes them incredibly versatile because you can fish them literally anywhere. And when the fish are doing anything, that means any season. That means during the summer when it's really hot out and the fish are really shallow. That means in the winter when the fish drive deep and you've got to fish really, really slow and deep. I mean, they are just absolutely as versatile bait as you can find. There's two types of strikes that a bass will do. There's a triggered strike or reaction strike, and then there's a hunger strike. And a soft plastic will elicit either one of those. It's all dependent on the way you fish it and the way it's presented to the fish and what mood the fish are in that day. There's three main types of soft plastics that are most popular. There's worms, flukes, and lizards. Now they can be rigged in a number of ways. They can be Texas rigged, Carolina rigged. They can be thrown on shaky heads. They can be thrown weightless. Now that's not necessarily the only way that you can throw a soft plastic, but those are the most popular ways to rig them. You know, worms are the most popular soft plastic by far, and there's a good reason. They catch fish, as we mentioned before. Worms come in just about every shape and size you can imagine, and every one has a specific application. For instance, this is a long worm that would be used on a Carolina rig in a situation where you want to float the worm off the bottom. Then you've got one of the most popular, if not the most popular bait right now in soft plastics, a Senko style bait. This is a Berkeley General. It's a Senko style bait. A lot of people fish them wacky rig where you hook them in the middle, you cast them out and you literally do nothing with it. As it sinks, it undulates like this. You're not doing anything to it and the fish see that and it triggers all kinds of strikes. You can also flip this bait. You can also Texas worm rig this bait. You can weedless worm hook this bait. There's all kinds of ways to fish this bait. The key thing about worms is understanding that they come in every shape and size and they can be fished anywhere. Flukes are another really, really popular soft plastic right now because they imitate a bait fish. This is a Berkeley flat-nosed jerk shad, which is a very, very cool looking shad looking bait. And when you put that on a jig head or a swim bait hook and you twitch that along, it looks like an injured bait fish. And the bass just go crazy over this. You can also cast it and kill it, which means you cast it out and you don't do anything. You let line out, and as it sinks, it just flutters down, and a bass thinks that that's an injured bait fish, and that triggers his strike. Flukes are very versatile also, like repeating, but it needs to be said. A fluke can be fished on top, no weight, weightless, through the thickest of cover. You can throw it in hydrilla, you can throw it in hyacinths, you can throw it in bulrushes, you can throw it anywhere and not get hung when you get in all that stuff, and you're gonna pull a bass out of there. It can also be rigged with a jig head, which it can be count down as you cast, and as it sinks, you count down, maybe 3, which takes it down 3 or 4 feet, and then you wind it along at a specific depth, which triggers fish that are suspended at that depth. Or you can put this on a shaky head, or a Texas rig if you want to. You can sink it to the bottom and work it along the bottom, hop it along the bottom, like a regular worm. It's a very versatile bait, and they do catch fish. Another one of the top 3 soft plastics that are very, very popular are lizards. Now, lizards are unique to soft plastics because they're pretty much predominantly a bottom bait. These are bottom-dwelling little animals that crawl along the bottom, and that's where these are fished. And they catch a lot of fish on the bottom. You don't want to swim them on top. You don't want to swim them in the middle of the water column. You want to fish them on the bottom. Now, lizards come in a variety of sizes, of course. This is a Berkeley power lizard, and this is probably a 6-inch one. And then there's a little itty bitty one for finessing. And then there's a big giant one. Now, these baits come in a variety of sizes for a reason, because sometimes the fish are very finicky and they want a small bait, and you can coax them into biting a small bait. Or coaxing them into biting a big bait, they're not going to do it. You absolutely can Texas rig these to keep them right on the bottom. You can Carolina rig these where they come off the bottom just a little bit and they work in the current. You can put these on a shaky head. You see the recurring theme, which is keep the bait on the bottom, the lizards on the bottom. Just another one of the popular soft plastics that are available to you. Hey, thanks for joining us on this episode of Beyond the Baits, powered by Streamlight. I hope some of the information contained in this video will help you become a better bass fisherman. For more information about bass fishing and other outdoor topics, join us at GameandFishMag.com or pick up a copy of Game and Fish on a local newsstand near you.